the final hour of the trading week. It has been a green day across the board. We're going to dive into that, the latest jobs report, the latest Apple earnings, what we're seeing in the markets. It's been a very, very interesting and volatile week. Before we jump into it, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Nothing Kevin or I say is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We are a few guys who love following the markets, trying to play this game, put together a winning strategy, but do your own research before making any buying and selling decisions. And for the love of God, if you're investing in meme coins, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Okay. Kevin, it's Friday. We mentioned on, I believe, Wednesday after Powell spoke that he brought up the fact that, if inflation comes down and the job market remains strong, he's not too worried about it. We got a very strong jobs report this morning, and in previous jobs report days, the market would tank if we got more jobs than expected, if unemployment was under what was expected. Today, the market is ripping. People are like throwing caution to the wind. Screw it. We don't need to worry about job numbers anymore. The Fed doesn't care. I think that's part of what we're seeing today. How do you feel about these numbers? And we can dive into them a little bit deeper here in a second.
Well, I mean, like everything else in the market, I think these numbers are bullshit. So I really don't think that unemployment's at 3.4%. I think it's actually probably a lot higher. Again, that's just based off how many layoffs we've seen across multiple sectors in the past, 2-3 months. But I'm not too worried about everything that's going on. Obviously, we're seeing a bit of a push to the upside. The inner bear of me is telling me that this is like a blow off top of this wave, this move to the upside. So we'll see. Be really interesting. Again, we've seen major resistance for TradFi markets around, for obviously for the Dow, it's been around 34,000, 42 for the S&P, and then NASDAQ, has been teetering around that 12,000 or right around there level. So we'll see if any of that goes. And again, yesterday it seemed like we were going to go under, what was it, 33, I believe, for the Dow. Like it was very close to going under. It was probably going to hit like 32.9 or something like that. But markets have been resilient. I'm not going to, play that off. Obviously, data doesn't matter, and that's fine. But again, I think this could be extremely dangerous in the coming days, weeks. But I'm not going to be here telling you like, oh, Sunday night, once the weekly close comes in, everything's going to go to shit. It honestly could, but I anticipate this being like a ripped band, like ripping a Band-Aid off. It's just going to be real fast and painless if you're on the right side of things. But I think a lot of people aren't. So
yeah, this morning's job report came in. Expectation was 185,000 jobs added last month. We got 253,000. Unemployment rate was supposed to rise from expectation was it would rise from 3.5 to 3.6. Wrong. It fell to 3.4. Average hourly earnings expectation was an increase month over month of 0.3%. It was 0.5%. Now on pace for like 4.4% year over year. So the Fed is now seeing that they can't slow. And also, revisions from the previous two jobs report showed that there weren't as many jobs as expected. We saw Biden on Twitter taking a victory lap. He's talking about, more jobs have been added in his time as president since like '08 and how strong everything is. They got the election next year.
Are these real jobs? Are these real jobs? Or are these just like the Biden's counting even like hand
Dude,
jobs?
I don't know.
Because this doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. We see some of the bigger numbers in the tech sector layoffs, but at the same time, we also have to take into account the fact that we see the numbers around like people's savings and how little money they have. And people are probably having to get back to work as well after, being off for a long time. They've gone through their savings. They're not getting the same government assistance. So we'll see. There's going to be a revision. It'll probably be revised down, but no one's going to talk about that fact. Anyway, so the Fed is seeing that the labor market is strong. Wages are continuing to beat expectations. They're not quite, year over year higher than inflation at this point. But if inflation keeps going down, it could get to that point. That's going to hurt inflation as well. Like there's a lot of it's a really tough time to figure out. Like God bless anyone who's trying to figure out what is going on with this market. Like you and I are, we've made our bets and we're kind of like sticking with it for the time being. But I don't envy anyone having to try to parse through this. We've seen some changes in the probabilities for the next rate hike. Meeting is in mid-June. After the last Fed announcement on Wednesday, the odds were about 90% of no hike, 10% of cutting by 25 basis points. Now it's about 91% chance of no hike, 9% chance of a 25 basis point increase. So, and this happened before as well. If you remember back a few months, GM, Mr. House, happy to have you. If you remember back a few months, I think it was after the January meeting or the February meeting. It was like February 1st.
Yeah.
We saw after that meeting, the expectation was either no hike or a cut. And then gradually over time, within a few weeks, it was like 100% chance of them raising it. I think we're going to see the same thing. I think we're going to get an inflation number on Wednesday and a PPI number on Thursday. That is not what the Fed wants to see. I think we're going to get another rate hike. I think the market has not priced that in. It will have to do that. So to me, this is a do not chase the gains right now. Personally, that's not what I'm going to do. I am not FOMOing into, I deployed a little bit of money into Pepe yesterday. We can talk about that later, just more for fun. But I'm not deploying any significant amount of capital into this market right now. Ace, good to see you. Happy Friday. Because there is no one wants to think that the Fed has to raise rates again. Everyone is hoping, because of how bad last year was, that we've reached the point where the Fed can pause and then in a few months pivot. And I don't think that's the case. I really don't. And I'm not going to flip bullish until we see data that gives me a reason to. Could that mean I miss out on some gains? Sure, but I'm still in the market in my longer position, so I'll be just fine. At the same time, I still there's just too much going on out there. We're seeing too many people flip bullish without having a rationale behind it. And that is something that drives me absolutely crazy.
Well, market makers love that. That's honestly the greatest thing that could ever happen since sliced bread for them. This is fucking 100%. Like I said, man, it seems like this is a blow off top, how excited everyone is. And I saw the Coin Mamba tweet today where the Pepe story is great for the market, for the space, because it's getting retail back into the markets again, excited about something. I'm like, yeah, maybe it is getting them excited about something, but I don't know. There's not too many people that are going to be able to say that they were able to retire off a frog coin. I'm just saying that's the truth. Not too many people are also saying that, it's not like a success story every time you buy Doge or Floki or, what's that one, Shiba. This just seems like the worst possible time when we're at a pretty overbought position for most of the market. And that's crypto and TradFi together. I don't know. I have not changed. I'm not scared by the price shooting up at all. I think if anything, it's been uncertainty this entire week. The banks are failing, but then the fucking frog is making everything go up. So, I mean, it's wild, but I'm okay with it doing that because I think long term, we're talking into September, October. If the timeline plays out similar to how it did in 2008, if you're on the short side, you're going to be rewarded heavily. I've been adding to my shorts. That's just what I've been doing. Every time it shoots up, I just see it as another opportunity to keep short in the market, getting higher liquidation level. That's my game. You can have the frog all you want. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it this short side, I guess.
Yeah, real quick, let's touch on the Apple earnings before we go too far past that. They came in better than expected. I'm happy that we didn't short anything there. Earnings per share came in at $1.52, beat expectations of $1.43. Revenue came in at $94.84 billion, beating expectations of $92.96 billion. So strong earnings from Apple. A big thing they are really focusing on, because I listened to some of the call, was their growth in India. They really view India's growing middle class as an opportunity to help with sales. Their biggest hit on sales was on iPhones. They missed on computers. They missed slightly on tablets. They came in about expectation on services, but iPhones are still their bread and butter, and they still view India's growing middle class as an opportunity to sell more iPhones. So they didn't talk a ton about AI, like pretty much every other tech giant has over their last earnings call. But India is where they're focused. They're getting out of China. They're opening more development in India. They're focusing on the Indian market. So I'm going to be very interested to see how that plays out. But other than that, we saw Coinbase reported strong earnings as well. They are having a great day in the market. Right now, Apple is up 5% on the day, which is funny because you talk to the frog coin people right now, they're like 5%. Who gives a shit about 5%? But That's just how TradFi works. So Coinbase having a great day. They're up almost 15%. PayPal up, like everything is just so green right now. Tesla is up, 5.5%. My Nvidia bags are up about 4.20%. That's a very nice number as well. So things are hot right now. They're hot, Kevin. I don't know if it's going to last into next week.
I agree. So it's just fucking wild, man. Like obviously Apple, I think Ace brought it up last time, and I was looking at that market cap and I was looking at that chart, and I'm like, why the fuck did Apple shoot up so much? Again, obviously because money printer. Tons of people were like, oh, let me invest some of this money, and I mean, it was at like $55 at the COVID low, and then absolutely just shooting straight up to the point where it is now, and today having a great day as well. But the only thing that I can say where I think Apple might be a little bit more resilient to the market is their financial sector. I think that them opening up the savings account for people to put their money in is one of the smartest things they possibly could have done, and that might absolutely like save them from going towards that COVID low. I sent out a tweet last night that some sectors in the market are absolutely going below the COVID low. They might be able to be resilient enough to stay above it, but I definitely do expect a hit still. Like no one is safe from what's coming, in my opinion. I think that every sector is absolutely leveraged to it at some point. But again, we're seeing banks collapsing, but nobody cares. And that's a pretty scary thing because these banks don't come back. Either they get eaten up or you lose everything. And if enough of them fail all at one time, then guess what? That doesn't look good for any type of debt the United States wants to take on, or the Federal Reserve, and definitely doesn't look good for elections. So I think right now a few of them are failing, but we're just propping up everything to make it look sunshine and rainbows as we head into 2024.
For sure. Yeah, Mr. House brought up everything in his TD account is green. He says it worries him, to be honest. I mean, if it gives you that feeling and you think that this is kind of getting near euphoria and a local top, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I wouldn't be afraid to trim a little bit off the top. Like that's what I've been doing with crypto over the last couple of months is on these big green days, I'll turn half an ETH or 1 ETH or 2 ETH into USDC and just kind of chill with it and wait for an opportunity to buy back in lower. So, you don't, it's not an all or none proposition. You don't have to sell your entire position in anything, but it's okay to, if things are really green, nothing wrong with taking a little bit off the table right there.
I feel like sometimes action is better than inaction. And I think that's the thing that you see in a bear market that a lot of people don't do. I can't tell you what to do, trade or not, but I think a lot of people are buying right now, but not enough people are selling. And it's going to get to the point where you're in them selling too late for some people. And that could be the TradFi crypto. Again, it goes back both ways. Everything right now is, like he said, everything is green in his account. Everything is green pretty much across the board today. And going into a weekly close after a pretty tumultuous week, maybe it is a little bit of a bounce. I don't know, man. I remember back in May of 2021 when obviously Bitcoin had shot up like crazy in that April. It got to like above 60K. And then next thing you know, everyone was holding bags down to 30K. This happens, and obviously it bounced back, but it's
when
like
Michael Saylor was buying at 69K.
Dude, I don't know why is he like, the godfather of Bitcoin? You know what I mean? Do people love this guy? And it's like, he's not making me rich. I mean, maybe he wasn't at 69K when he was buying, just adding liquidity, but it's like, where is he now? He has been quiet as church mouse. I have not heard anything about Michael Saylor.
He's still out there. He's still out there tweeting his Bitcoin laser eyes. Like it's happening for sure. It is definitely happening.
Wild, man. Not my cup of tea, but yeah.
All right, real quick. I want to touch on Saylor so overrated. I agree. Speaking of overrated, I want to talk about some of these crypto influencers that are on Twitter. These anonymous accounts that have hundreds of thousands of followers and talk out of their ass a lot. I've seen from multiple people that they're getting DeFi summer. The Pepe is like, this is giving me the start of 2020 DeFi summer vibes, or it's back to rev. Someone named Shardy B said rev your risk engines. Okay, do these people you can't just take a similar vibe that happened 3 years ago and base all of your thoughts and your financial opinions on that. let's go over what's different now compared to 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the government, the US government, and many other governments were printing more money than has ever been printed. That's one. Number two, people were not able to really leave their homes. So they did not go on vacations. They did not have money to spend out at dinners. So they were putting money into speculative assets like crypto. Okay. Number three, interest rates were at zero. They are now at the highest rate they have been in decades. So, like, to say that this is giving me the same vibes as I had 3 years ago, and we're going back into risk on mode, and this is just the start of the bull market, is absolutely asinine, and it shows that you have no understanding of any other financial factors that could be impacting markets. Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know, man. I saw Shorty B. She had that stochastic RS vibe. That was a great indicator, saying that the vibe was very similar to 2020.
I'm going to go put my head in my garbage disposal real quick.
She also probably used the MACD for MACD's nuts. Again, it just seems like these people don't know anything in terms of macroeconomics. You and I talked about this all the time, and you can't.
And like,
I trust astrology more than vibes. Like, what the hell does
you and I
mean?
are not macro experts. Like, I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some expert in macroeconomics, but even I know that the things that I just talked about have an impact on the markets. And I don't think that any of these influencers are even like, either they don't know this stuff, which is a problem, or they do, and they're just like trying to dump on their followers, which is an even bigger problem. Like, I mean, it's pretty jacked up either way.
You explained it perfectly well. Interest rates are at 0%. It's easier to borrow money then. Easier to throw money into the economy, into the markets. Like, if people are spending, obviously things are going to go up in price. But right now, there's a liquidity crunch, and I don't think people understand how bad this liquidity crunch is going to get. And maybe it's just because you think that, okay, everything's all right now. We had a bad year. Now it's time to move on. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like half of Twitter is, well, I mean, more 90% of Twitter is just living in like some fucking fairy tale, far, far away land from Shrek. Like, I can't guarantee you that anything is good is gonna happen this year. I can't. Can I guarantee you that something bad will probably happen? Well, yeah. I mean, it's been pretty bad for the first 5 months that we've been here. How many banks have absolutely collapsed? And again, the market's not the economy. The market is not the economy. The market is not the economy. Everyone gets that confused. This plays out and it affects the markets absolutely. Like, we saw the 50s and 75s that were implemented last year finally affect the banks this year, right? So now the banks are getting hurt now. How is that going to impact the markets 6 months from now? Right? If there's no liquidity, how is anyone going to buy anything? Who's going to hold these prices up? If money is leaving the market, the money supply is being cut, nothing's being printed, how are you going to even get back to some of those highs in 2021, 2022?
Yeah.
You know, it makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to know this stuff. It's just like, we're in a different situation than we were a year ago, 2 years ago. This is absolutely insane. And that's why they are anonymous, because if anyone saw them in public, they'd make them eat shit.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. It's a lot easier to get engagement on social media and to grow a following when you are all sunshine and rainbows and up only, because no one wants to think about the bad stuff. They just want to sit there and watch the number go up because it's fun to see green on the charts. I get that. But there's living in reality and trying to make the most of the situation, and there's living in fantasy land where you just want money to be handed to you. And so I think that it's take the blinders off. Like, it's not the sexiest analysis what we're doing, but I feel like it's the honest truth, and it's more realistic than what we're seeing on Twitter and by other people who are just like, we're back to up only, bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things today was, I didn't know that Binance was going to list Floki Inu and Pepe. You told me this morning, and that's when I found out. Why the hell are they listing that right now? It comes back to liquidity. They know these idiots are going to fucking buy this shit right off the exchange. They know that people are going to talk about it, hear about it, and that's just tons of money that's going to come onto the exchanges. But it's like, they didn't do stuff like that back in the bull run. I mean, it was hard to get some of these meme coins on the exchanges back in the bull run. Look at Coinbase putting Shiba Inu like a while after everything. It was already on, or no, Binance was the one that put on after Coinbase. But it's like, these two are even more speculative than Shiba Inu was, right?
And now Binance is doing it before Coinbase. Like, they're jumping into it.
It's fucking wild, man. It's very scary how much people do anything for liquidity. These huge market makers. I'm not even like singling out Binance. I'm just showing like saying that they need liquidity and they were happy to take your fucking money right now. Doesn't matter if it's for a frog coin or a freaking Norse dog coin. It doesn't matter. They're gonna take it, whatever, and they're gonna fucking let it ride, man.
Let it ride, baby. Okay. Are there any charts you want to look at as we wrap up the week? We head into the weekly close for TradFi here in 40 minutes. Things haven't moved too sharp in one direction or the other. We usually, oftentimes, we'll see, people closing out their longs or their shorts heading into the weekend. It doesn't really seem like too volatile a move in either direction. That could change here in the last 30 minutes. Who knows? But any charts that really jump out to you for us to wrap the show with?
I mean, you take a look at ETH. I just want to look at ETH because the meme coins have absolutely just sent this thing up for the past few days.
Transaction fees on ETH are absurd right now.
I know. I hate sending USDT over from Coinbase to the exchanges so I could short swaps, but it's like it's insane. I've never since the merge. Merge. Fees were insanely low. Now everybody's using it for buying ETH to swap on, Uniswap or whatever for these memes, and it's just shot up insane. Like sending money used to never be this expensive, at post merge, but maybe we're going back to the old days of ETH. Yeah. So again, this is the daily. It's even fucking. This is ridiculous. Let's look at the weekly because you can see when Pepe came out. Or past 2 weeks, you can see that, after we got this almost this entirely bearish engulfing candle here, where we were at 2142, and we got sent down to 1823. Pepe's brought us back up to about 20,000. We're at 1982 right now. So insane. This is just absolute volatility. But again, you're seeing this resistance up at this level around 2157. Looks like we hit it there. Is there potential another move to the upside here? Maybe. I don't think that it's going to be long lived. I think that for the most part, we are going to be dropping this price down a little bit. It's just insane to be looking at it. Like if we look at the daily, insane how it's been shooting up. Again, volumes are not necessarily high. It's been pretty low past few days, but the price is shooting up. So it'd be interesting to see this. It's just, these meme coins, I guess they do have impact on the market, and this goes to show that pretty much everything in the market is tied together, because if people are getting excited about this and we're seeing cash flow into it, we're definitely going to be seeing cash flow out of it. And we've been seeing tons of supply, whether it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Matic, Solana. I've seen, the one Ethereum wallet was sending $500 million worth of ETH to Coinbase and Binance. XRP has been moving money from escrow and to escrow wallets. We're seeing Solana. I think $100 million worth of Solana move from one wallet to an exchange. So if you're keeping an eye on this stuff, you're seeing that, we're finding resistance. We're seeing tons of big whales put money onto the exchange, huge amount of supply. And we're just seeing the price go up, and then we're getting these wicks. So like, obviously if we look on the weekly, we're getting these wicks in both directions. We're getting them down here because this is probably retail buying up. And then you get wicks here because that's where the selling pressure is. Selling pressure. And they're going to let this ride. This is going to play out. But I do think that this market is going to dump soon enough when there is no more liquidity put into it. Could Pepe prolong this? And maybe. Again, I'm only saying Pepe because everyone's super excited about it. My timeline's all about this fucking
Have you looked at the chart for Pepe yet today?
I'm afraid to.
Do it. I want your live reaction. I want to see your face when you see Pepe.
Your big get spot.
Yeah.
That's the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, see these wicks.
Go to the 30 minute.
30 minute. Got it.
I mean, just it's a pretty big move up there.
I mean, good for Pepe. I hope he does well. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man. You're gonna bet that a frog. I mean, obviously the frog coin is kicking Bitcoin's ass right now too. So it's such a fucking wild spot in the market.
Here's the thing about Pepe. Okay, it's not listed on Coinbase yet. The number of holders keep going up. So about 100. It's now up to 104,000 people hold Pepe. How many people do you think hold Shiba Inu without looking?
Way more.
Give me a number.
How much was it for Pepe again?
104,000.
104,000?
Mm-hmm.
500K at least for Shiba.
1.3 million for
Yeah,
Shiba.
see, I knew it
So
was a high number, but
there's still potential for Pepe. The market cap of Pepe is still like 20-25% of Shiba. So I think there's still room to move there. So, I don't know, man. I picked up, like I said, a very small amount of Pepe just to be along for the ride because it's been fun. Uh, I bought at a good time yesterday. I bought after our show because I am a big believer and I don't want to shill something I own. Like I'd rather talk about it on the show and then buy it than buy it and then pump it on the show, kind of a thing. Not that we're market movers by any stretch of the imagination, but just in case the SEC is watching. So there's that. But yeah, it's fun. Maybe this goes on for a while longer. Maybe we see it. Let's see here. Mr. House saying he's probably going to sell most by Monday. It'd be hard for me to lose right now, but I'd rather take profit off the top than be left with nothing. Yeah, I can appreciate that. I didn't put in so much where I feel like I need to like take out my original investment. Like with this particular one, I'm probably an all or nothing kind of a situation. I'm just hoping I can make enough money to maybe pay for me to go see a few Denver Nuggets playoff games in the later this series or next series or maybe in the NBA Finals. So that's kind of my goal right now. And if that happens, I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people make money. I honestly do. But again, I just worry that there's always going to be some wallet that's bigger than you that's just going to chase you out of the market or make you sell at a bad time. I also just don't want to be holding anything. I think the market's going down, so I'm just adding my shorts every opportunity.
We know you think the market's going down, Kevin. You've made it crystal clear you think the market's going down.
We'll give it away. But yeah, like I wake up every morning and I'm just like, throw another 1,000 short into this market. I don't care. I'll fucking do it. I'll do it all day. I'll do it all week. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to the weekend. I think that we are going to see maybe a little bit more of a pump into the weekend for Bitcoin. Obviously, that's going to bring everything up with it, unless dominance just starts to fucking rise again. We've seen that it's coming down right now. But I do anticipate some sell-off at some point in the near future. Just we're too extremely overbought. And when it does happen, I expect it to be fast. I'm looking at the wave counts. And if this is wave 2, this is the relief from, the first drop that we got down to 27, whatever that number was. What was that? 27. What was that? What the hell was it? 20. Oh, my bad. Not even. It was 26,937. If that was the first wave and then this is the relief rally, then I anticipate this one to be extremely massive. Like wave 3 is always the biggest. It's going to go lower than 26.7 for sure. Again, my targets remain 24 to 25K for Bitcoin in the next move. That could play out over the course of, how many days, a couple days, weeks, unless we get something absolutely just devastating to the markets. Like, I don't know, JP Morgan goes under or something like that. Then we just go to 15K. But
I'm curious. I know that you had been in the camp of Bitcoin's going sub 10K and ETH was going down to like 600. Do you think that's still in the realm of possibilities, or have you revised those targets up a little bit?
Nothing has changed for the better in terms of what my outlook was, and that was back in January, right? Once we started pumping extreme. So for me, I think that there's a good possibility that we could see a good wick below 10K. I'm open to that. I think that 11 to 12K is probably more likely of a wick to that area. 14K, obviously, there's tons of support. We were talking about 14K since FTX. Like we were so close to hitting it when FTX happened. I was at like 15. I was like almost. I was on the train. I was like, I'm gonna be right today. Wasn't. But yeah, there's tons of support at that level, and I anticipate Bitcoin still going down to those lows. ETH, I still see being 3 digits, somewhere between 6 and 700. I think I said 636 was my target where I would anticipate it. I still think that. I haven't changed anything. Maybe that's foolish of me. However, I just have not been based on the data, the amount of time I spend on the charts looking at everything. Nothing looks appetizing in this market, and I am very happy just loading up on shorts at this point. If it goes to 10K, if it goes to 8K, if it goes to 14K, at least it's a lot lower than where it is currently.
Okay. I think that's a good place to wrap it up for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back on Monday, Same time, same place. Looking ahead to the markets over the week. Be interested to see where we close here in 30 minutes, where we reopen Sunday night. Could be a fun one. We'll for sure have fun with it no matter what, because I mean, what else are we gonna do at this point, right? Like, we'll cry through the pain and laugh through the pain together. So have an awesome weekend, everybody. If you have not yet, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, share us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Direct people to our channel on YouTube. We greatly appreciate that. But have an awesome day. Kevin, I'll see you Monday.
Take care, everyone. Be safe.